Wait for the next slide. Oh, okay. Yep, after that one. Yeah, after the committees form, what do you do? Well, there's actually quite a bit to do, but we thought let's start with these three basic steps, and that is really outlining the committee's key tasks and goals, and really put a timeline to that, right? Like, is it a year-long process? Is it an 18-month process? A lot of our schools in LA Unified actually did a 2+ year process. Just because they really wanted to get as many voices involved, and that just takes a longer time sometimes. And so really thinking about what are your specific tasks? Are you going to come up with the priority list of services, or is it thinking about behavioral health services and how to go about making sure that they reach the students? Establishing a meeting schedule. Do you want to try to meet monthly so you can keep that momentum going? Do we want to try to meet in person and then have a Zoom option? Do you want a subcommittee structure? Maybe that can come a little bit later once the group really forms and people are able to develop rapport with each other. And then the key part is selecting, I want to say facilitators rather. We see that sometimes having like 2 co-chairs is helpful, because, that way they can feel more supported, but also in case one isn't there, the other one can take over. But this is really key to your planning committee, because they can really help to push the agenda through and to really think about how is the conversation going, and are the goals being met, and are we making progress on what we're supposed to do as a planning committee. So so start with this, and then we're happy to chime in and talk about, okay, then what do we focus on, which actually we have a 2-page worksheet to share. So go ahead and go to the next slide as well. It's really small here, but it's a 2-page worksheet that just poses some questions. What are the things you want to accomplish? Who are the key people? What types of needs assessment? These are the things we already talked about. How do you recruit for your advisory council or your planning committee? And how do you go about recruiting different types of people and the different strategies? Next slide, please. This is the 2nd page, again, talking about how to get young people involved. And once you have that, how will you maintain their enthusiasm and their interest, right? How do we make sure that we're able to make progress? Because we know that helps to sustain interest and engagement. And so just even this 2-page worksheet could help you, really think about your planning process and the planning committee and bringing people together. So that's available to you as well. And we'll make these also a Word document in case you just want to download that as well. I think we have one more slide. So Amy went through some of this earlier, but here at CSHA, we are really here to support your planning efforts and helping you improve your operations. We actually set up quite a number of tours of school-based health centers, and I'm really happy to do that. In our coalition, we've been able to see several sites already, and sometimes just being able to see a site really helps you visualize what it is that you want your site to look at. Learn about potential partnerships. Going to webinars and meetings and conferences really help you allow to meet people, but also see that you have a shared vision. Thinking about the model that works best for you. Amy talked about that earlier. Getting guidance on your planning committee. This webinar hopefully gives you a good start. And then we've got lots of different tools on our website. Chapter by chapter, our Vision to Reality toolkit on how to start a school-based health center is 200+ pages, and in there we've got chapters and chapters, but also templates, so you don't have to start from scratch. Use templates and adapt them and put on your own logos, but a lot of the work has been done and people are so generous about sharing, so we really wanted to make sure you all have those resources. And then lastly, we are so pleased to start a school health coalition in Empire. Our first meeting was in the spring of this year, and we've went ahead and established a quarterly meeting schedule. Our next meeting is actually next Friday. We're going to be up in the high desert. I think I said that right. Apple Valley, because we know the county is quite largest geographic county in the country. So we want to make sure we hit different communities and really get people involved in school districts who probably, may not have a school-based health center yet, but get them interested in that. And so the registration is on there, and we can also drop that in later. But I think we're closing registration next Monday, so that way we can get, the catering and all that in there. But we hope to see some of you, or see many of you, and the meetings that we've had so far, they've been really good. People feel, connected and excited about the work and the movement. And so we invite all of you to come and be part of that. And I think that's it. The last slide is just our contact information. I'll turn it back over to Amy to start our few minutes of Q&A.
Yeah, unfortunately, we just have 4 minutes left, although we're happy to send out notes and answers to questions along with the resources. So if folks have any questions that you'd like us to answer in the last couple minutes, feel free to chat or speak them now. You can also email them as follow-up. I will put our emails in the chat box now. We really want to support any development of school health services that you all need support with. And as someone noted already, we will be sending out all slides and resources. Well, our lovely partners at San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools will be sending out all the slides and resources. Any questions? Oh, just thank you. Very nice.
Amy, do you want to tackle that one?
Yeah,
chime in.
The average cost to support one clinic per year. We actually have a sample budget. We have a huge, I don't know, 100+ page sort of toolkit, vision to reality, that helps folks start a school-based health center. And we have a sample budget in there. I think that sample budget has a cost of over $600,000. However, it also shows the billing and the revenue for that clinic that we think is realistic, that is basically a break-even clinic. So it shows how you might spend $600,000 per year on a clinic, but how you also might bill for and sustain at $600,000, so that there's at the point that a clinic is up and running well, there's actually no net cost. And I don't know if we have that document as a standalone document, but I can send the bigger document that has the budget in it. Some caveats there that, of course, how much you can bill and for what depends on what kind of provider type you have and what kind of agencies they come from, what your Medi-Cal rate is. So the cost depending on the services that you want, but you can also try to sort of scale up slowly, as Sang had mentioned in the beginning. So starting small and billing small, and then adding more services and billing more, and adding more services and billing more over time. Definitely, we're invested in making sure that you can do it in a way that is cost effective. Just another little big asterisk to put on there is that it is often difficult. The biggest challenge is to find that initial investment to build and renovate. That our sort of, statement that I feel like to be true is that once you get it up and running, we can help you get it sustainable so that it pays for itself, but you do need an initial investment to build it. Any other questions?
I have a question. Let me find my camera. Sorry. This is for Amy. Hi, Amy. I'm Brenda Rios, and I am the Health Services Administrator for Ontario Montclair School District. And Mike, I apologize if I don't know much of your background because I came in a little bit late in the meeting. So do you run a federally qualified health center, or is it a private school-based completely health center with not federally qualified?
Great question. So we are the California School-Based Health Alliance. So we're a statewide nonprofit that helps schools open school-based centers. So we don't run any. My own background is spending 9 years at an FQHC that had 8. So that's sort of where I come from.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So the different models like that you are showing us, I feel like it's obviously different kind of models, right, that school districts can adopt. But what kind of model do you think is more sustainable, or a model that's easier, like is it easier for us to partner with the, let's say, the local pediatrician down the street and have them come and be our provider for 1 or 2 days? Or is it something where maybe with the federally qualified health center, it's easier, but then I know federally qualified health centers have a lot of federal compliance, stuff. And sometimes that could be a little bit of a limit, setback for some. But so I'm just trying to see what's the best recommended model for like a school district.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and there's not a simple answer because it really depends on sort of the size of the school, the general population around the school, who's going to be coming in, what the Medi-Cal rate is. If you have a good FQHC in your neighborhood already, like that's a great possible partner. The sort of quick answer I would give is it's based on the needs of your community and the resources in your community. And the more different kinds of services and provider types you can get, the more diverse your funding sources can be, right? Like if your FQHC can be billing Medi-Cal, but your community-based mental health partner can be billing, and then your school district can be billing, then we call that braided funding, right? You could braid all that funding together and make it much more sustainable in the long run. But we would love to and someone just mentioned the managed care plan. Yes, definitely connecting with your managed care plan. But we would love to talk with you specifically about where you're at and where you're trying to go and how we can help you get there.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because like for example, our district, we do the billing option program. I've heard of that, right? So we do already we do in-house Medi-Cal billing.
That's great.
We don't outsource it out anymore. So we've been doing that for years. So nice. I don't know
doing it for the broader population, because some folks were just doing it for special ed, but you're doing it for the whole student population.
Yes, for the whole, especially since the SPA passed. We're trying to cap on all the different services we could, tap into. Yeah. So yes, so we're doing it for all any kind of direct services or even for general ed now that we're allowed to bill for those kind of services. So I'm thinking, we have a basic great foundation, because we have our in-house Medi-Cal billers. It's just now, trying to see, because we do have a partner, a collaboration with a federally qualified health center, but sometimes that it has to be go based on either their schedule of their own providers, correct? And sometimes maybe they might not have enough providers to serve our community. And so I'm trying to see if it's something that either would it be an option for us to even have like our own, not federally qualified, not partnered, a provider where they would be able to service more of our kids, so it's just so many factors that come in. So it's sometimes a little bit confusing, but I mean, I have a basic knowledge, but sometimes it's just, trying to put them all together.
I mean, the fact that you already have that structure and that expertise around doing the in-house billing. I saw Teresa just chatted that she wants to pick your brain about that too. That's an amazing start. That's way ahead of where many districts already are. So that's a great start. And I would wonder actually if there's some way you could supplement, like not sort of turn away that FQ partnership that's already in place, but think about bringing your own partners on and how they might, share those patients and share information and work together collaboratively. Just because I think the more that you can pull in, the more resource your center will be.
Yes, most definitely. Yes, I mean, that would be, that's what we want to do. And I think, I'm just thinking, because I know I think COVID kind of relaxed a lot of things, as far as like with the federally qualified health centers, as far as access, but I feel like still there's, and I totally understand that they still have to meet like their compliance issues. And, so unless like a kid, as a student is assigned as a provider.
A lot of FQs actually have that misinformation, but you can actually bill outside of network providers as an FQ. So
really,
that's part of the sort of message we have for FQs that are in school-based health centers is you can bill for out-of-network providers. We have the letter from DHCS that proves it. You know, there's a delay in your payment.
Right.
It seems like later, I don't know, can't remember how to explain it, but yeah, absolutely. So if you want to reach out to me, I can send you that and maybe.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
put
that would be
some pictures.
helpful.
Yeah,
That would be helpful, very helpful, because I mean, if there's something that we could, like you said, enhance, oh, sorry, I lost my thing. Like you say, enhance, you know, maybe collaborate and help, you know, what we have in place already. And knowing that it's not, we don't have to turn away any of the kids that are underserved, if they don't, you know, and that
Yeah.
are private insurance or something that they might not qualify under the regular, you know, benefits.
Mhm.
Then that would be great. That would be very helpful.
Absolutely.
So-
Our message is that no one should be turned away, for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're already coming to the Inland Empire Coalition meeting. Saying, do you want to tell us again when the next one is? Because it would be great for Brenda to get looped in.
Yeah, it's next Friday, December 9th, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. In Apple Valley. I know Mara is going to chime in and close us out. So
Oh, yeah.
pass it to her.
But yes,
Uh,
Brenda, do reach out either through the coalition meeting or just email us directly.
Okay, I'll email Sing and then if you could forward it to Amy, then that would be great. I appreciate it. Thank you for answering my questions. Thank you.
Yeah, so nice to see all of you.
No, thank you guys for these conversations. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and send out the slides, the resources that were shared and the materials, and then of course the recording of this webinar as well, just for reference if you ever want to go back and see certain things. So we're going to go ahead and send that out through a live binder, an email, but it's through a live binder where you can access all that information. Just a few things. So we do have the upcoming webinar for this series is on January 25th of next year. So we're really going to focus on the engagement piece. So how to engage your school, how to engage your families, community partners, and really advancing the school-based health care. So we'll send out a flyer with a registration form, just kind of the same format as what we did today. And then the other thing too is that we do have another webinar coming. It's separate from the series, but it does tie in with school-based health centers. So it's on the LCAP funding and how Chino Valley Unified School District actually used their LCAP funding to build their school-based health center. So we do have that coming up. We don't have a date yet, but I will be sending it out to everybody that participated or joined today's Zoom meeting. So there's different webinars that are coming up on this topic to hopefully guide you in the right direction with the school-based health center on your campus. But with that being said, I did put in the chat a post survey. If you guys can please fill it out, it'll help us improve and just really meet you guys where you're at. So if you can really fill that out for us, we'd really appreciate it. And then I know I saw in the chat someone asking for Amy's information. Oh, Amy already put it in. So we'll go ahead and see you guys all very soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'm not seeing the survey. Do you mind putting it in the chat again?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.